This is my flight review of the Airbus A400M. And so this aircraft has the capability to land on pretty much any type of landing. The interesting thing is the height, but I had to ask if this could ever be a commercial transport. I'm here at the Dubai Airshow 2023, and we're going to show you what's inside the Airbus A400M. And I bet you're wondering, what is happening on inside this military fuselage? What sort of use case is this aircraft? Yeah. And what's the sort of capacity of carrying troops?
So in this, how you see it right there,
yeah.
About 90.
This is 90 people, okay.
Insert the center row seats, and then you can come up to 116 people.
116 people.
Yeah, which is also, could be paratroopers that will jump out of the airplane.
Okay, perfect. So when you do the air-to-air refueling, do you fill this area up with a fuel tank, or
is it? There is a possibility by Airbus to have some cargo hold tanks in there, but in our case, as we try to be most flexible in the air, and maybe there's an evacuation mission going on in Iraq or Syria, and then we need the space in the cargo hold. So we try to refuel without cargo hold tanks.
Okay.
We take the fuel out of the inner tank.
And you can just see how expansive it is in here. But the interesting thing is the height. There is a ton of room on board this aircraft. And what I love is all the paneling on top that makes it so much more cleaner. If you've seen the other videos about the American aircraft, you can see just how it's kind of pipes and fuselage sticking out. And I really love just how clean and with this sort of European engineering. Also, I'm not going to be tripping over much on the floor because the way that they've done this, it's actually a lot smoother. There's actually floor tiles here as opposed to the raw lines that they use to drop cargo. Now, this aircraft is configured to do sort of most cargo operations, refueling, and also for paratroopers as well as other people. But I had to ask if this could ever be a commercial transport. Do you think this could ever be configured to be more of a commercial transport during maybe the end of its lifetime?
There is.
There is a commercial version.
Pellets,
with
seats like a normal airliner.
And how many can you fit in when?
That will reduce the capacity to about 80 something.
80 something. Yeah. Okay.
But you will have an end part, and then in the middle the standard seats, like you know it from an airliner everywhere here at the Airshow.
And just to exemplify even stupidly, do you think you could ever put a second deck into here and put seats?
No, unfortunately not. Because if you see this part in front of the aircraft, it's closed.
Okay.
So you cannot get into the second row.
Okay.
There's no door on the upper side of the aircraft, so you cannot get there.
Of course. Okay, perfect. This is my flight review of the Airbus A400M, and you can see that I've got very little leg room, and it's a very sort of flimsy seats, and there's no in-flight entertainment, but hey, it gets me there, and this aircraft can land anywhere. So I can go to the most rural strips of the world and be completely fine. Now let's go forward to the flight deck. And you can see how little room there is when there's people sitting here. It's very loud though. So this is a full glass cockpit?
This is a full modified A380 cockpit, like in the aircraft next to us. And yeah, digitally from top to bottom.
Does that mean that you two could fly you think you could fly the Airbus A380 after flying this plane?
Yeah.
And so how many crew members do you have here in the front during operation?
On the we have 3 seats, as you can obviously see. The aircraft is able to fly with 2, like standard every other airline cockpit as well. And we use the 3rd seat in a hostile environment to have an additional observer, or we train people with a 3rd seat, so the flight instructor may sit here to give additional inputs to the guys flying.
Very cool. And then, so what's that behind you there?
That's a little bunk bed to have at least a little bit of crew rest on the longer flights. Then. So
that's awesome.
You can put up this kind of thing to make it 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so this aircraft has the capability to land on pretty much any type of landing strip. Have you yourselves landed on rather than just...
In the simulator we did some landing on grass and on like a gravel pit or a gravel runway.
And how does that go?
It works perfectly fine. You don't even recognize the difference. I mean, except for the dust that gets blown or the snow that's getting blown in front of the aircraft, is use the reverse from the engines.